Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Christian Babcock, Nathan Canilao, Joseph Dycus. Wild first night of the NorCal basketball playoffs. We didn't think it could get any crazier than the section playoffs, but somehow it might have tonight. We're going to start real quick. Our man Christian Babcock, a little under the weather, so we're going to start. We're going to get to the Moreau game. Don't worry. We're going to get to the Milpitas game. Don't worry. We're going to start off with Oakland High, which I guess Oakland High started off slow in San Jose against Valley Christian, and then picked it up and got the dub. Christian, take it from there. What was your take on Oakland High?
Yeah, so they started slow, quite literally. In fact, Orlando Watkins told me they got there 45 minutes late. I'm not sure what time they were supposed to get there, but he said they were shell-shocked in the first quarter, which is true. Someone on Valley Christian dunked in warm-ups, so they were given a tech. So Oakland got Oakland High, not Oakland Tech, got a technical foul or they got technical free throws, I should say. This is not at all confusing. Anyway, so the game started with them up 2-0 and with the ball. And despite that, they still managed to lose the first quarter 16-4. And then once they kind of got that out of their system, they just basically dominated every quarter the rest of the way, and they won by like 15. So it was a very odd game. Haven't seen a game quite like that all year, but they have an excellent team, and now they're moving on to the quarterfinals.
And what were they saying after the game? Are they they're gonna have to hit the road again, right?
Yeah, Orlando was saying, they've been to a lot of places this year. They've been to New Orleans, apparently, which I either did not know or had forgotten. So they've been around a little bit doing some tournaments and stuff. So they're used to being on the road. He feels they're a little bit underseeded at number 13 in D1. But, they keep winning. They're going to get where they want to go. So they'll have, more opportunities to pull off some upsets and have their own little March Madness run here.
D2 for them, and they're actually going to be they're hitting the road. Nathan, help us out here. Where's Destiny Christian?
Destiny Christian is up in Sacramento, 916 in the heart of Sacramento. So it's not too far, but it's a drive.
That's gonna be a tough game though. We saw Destiny Christian at was it the Philippe Doherty's thing?
Yeah, Crushing the Valley.
Crushing the Valley.
They're a very good team.
All right. Well, Christian, thanks. You can stick around if you want, but I know you're battling here. You got the cap on, you're battling, trying to stay well.
This was your Willis Reed moment. Okay, you came in, you hit those 2 jump shots, and now you can leave now.
This is the second meeting that I've heard Willis Reed today. Earlier this morning in an editor's meeting, Willis Reed was brought up, and with the Warriors going to Madison Square Garden. That was 55 years ago that Willis Reed hobbled onto the court in the NBA Finals for the New York Knickerbockers. But that's going off the rails a little bit. What a night. By my count, 8 double-digit seeds on the boys' side and 6 double-digit seeds on the girls' sides all advanced to the quarterfinals tonight on the NorCal Regionals. Big shocker on the girls' side. Folsom, a team that we thought was going to be an open division team. They're out. They lost to San Joaquin Memorial. So I believe Piedmont now gets a home game, right?
Yes. Which, by the way, I think we should point out this is not the first time this has happened. Last year, Pinewood was the number 1 seed in D1, and they lost to McClatchy. So wow. I guess what's the moral of the story here? You don't want to be the number 1 seed in girls D1. I
guess not. But let's Christian is bowed out, so we say bye to Christian. But for tonight, he'll be back hopefully tomorrow. Nathan, 10-point lead by Doherty Valley at halftime. Mm-hmm. Game kind of looked like just it wasn't the drama wasn't there yet, but they were waiting for it, right? It happened.
Yeah. First half, a lot of free throws, man. A lot of free throws. Felt like every possession ended in a couple of free throws. And then Sometime around the third quarter, I think Moreau turned up the heat, and they started pressing a little bit. Jalen Stokes got in foul trouble really early on. I mean, that really was the killer. He ended up fouling out with, I believe 4 minutes left in the fourth.
He had 3
quarter.
fouls in the first half, right?
Yeah, 3 fouls in the first half. Kenny Cloud also had 3 fouls, I believe, in the first half. It was a lot of just fouls, but the fourth quarter was, quite a show. Moreau and Kellen Hampton. Hampton finished with 43 points tonight. I want to say he had a majority of that in the fourth. He was just going crazy.
Perfect at the line. Perfect at the free throw line, I saw.
Yeah, just a pure scorer, man. He just could really put the ball in the bucket. And right when Moreau gets, I believe, a 3-point lead after he hits a couple free throws late, Kenny Cloud hits probably one of the craziest shots I've ever seen. Down 3, hits a buzzer. The place
third
goes
buzzer
nuts.
beater of the night for Doherty Valley, I heard.
Third buzzer. Yeah, they hit
3 buzzer beating shots tonight.
It was crazy because the halftime, the buzzer he hit right before halftime was like off one leg, falling down in the corner. I thought that was insane, and so kind of foreshadowed that fourth quarter buzzer. And man, that place was going crazy. But overtime comes and Cloud fouls out like 30 seconds in. He's done. Doherty has to go to about really a 5-guard lineup. I believe Zane, their small forward, who's a small forward. He's about 5'8". He was playing their center.
Oh my God! Against Kellen Hampton and Walker was in foul trouble. I think he had 4 at that point. Did he end up fouling out too, or did he manage to stay the whole game?
I think he managed to stay in. But Doherty was. They were deep in their bench. It was guys that don't really play stepping on the floor tonight, and
and then they lost Robbins early, right? Or he didn't play or something. Because he was big time against Redwood on Saturday. I couldn't imagine. that would be a huge loss.
Yeah, Robbins didn't play. I think after the first or second quarter, he did not return. And I don't think Azon Evans was available tonight either. He's still dealing with the sickness. So just a really bad turn of events for Doherty Valley. And to their credit, they still only lost in overtime with all that happening.
All that unfolding. What a magical 2 games for Moreau. Yeah. I listened to Chris Babcock's post game on the NorCal Sports TV, and he had Kellen Hampton on there. And Hampton really came across as what a gracious guy. And he said they would run through a wall for Frank Knight. That's how they play. They would run through a wall for they love that coach so much. What were they saying post game to you?
Yeah, it's a tight knit group. They talked a lot about how these moments they're prepared for them because of how great their chemistry is and how much they trust in Frank to draw up the right play to make the right sub. This is a team that goes 10 deep. Like they don't. This is not a shallow team by any stretch. This is a team that if their best strength is if they go 8, 9, 10 guys in a rotation. And so they were just really happy about, they're not surprised that that they're in this position. They're really happy that they can get here, but they're not surprised. This is what they've kind of been talking about all year. And they finally did it. And I will say it didn't hurt to have Moreau, student section and a parent section that was gigantic. There was more Moreau fans in that gym than Doherty fans. It was.
Oh my God!
There was on Instagram, I guess a Doherty Valley student or administrator went live on Instagram, and so I clicked on it and watched it, and they were like panning. They were panning across the gym, and all I could think was, this looks like a Moreau Catholic home game. At least the section that they showed, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it
was really traveled.
They traveled. They were loud. It did feel like a road environment at Doherty. It was really loud. You could tell that they really fed off that. And alumni. I saw Casey Moreno, former Moreau alum and head football coach formerly at St. Mary's of Berkeley, was there. A lot of people showed up. I think this is a good tight knit community, and they're really happy about this. And I think they want to see this team go far.
Let me ask you one quick question.
Oh, go ahead, Joseph.
How good is Kellen Hampton?
He's really. He's very good. If you're talking about a guy who could just put the ball in the basket, I don't know. there's maybe Jalen. I think Jalen Stokes and him are probably the two best scorers in the Bay Area. I mean, it's the guy mid-range three layups in transition. The guy just knows where to put the ball in the basket. And it's funny because he really didn't do that much in the first half. He was he was shooting some free throws. But he wasn't really being aggressive. But then the fourth quarter, felt like every time he touched the ball, I saw the Doherty bench and they just go, oh no. And it's just, the guy caught fire and he just couldn't miss.
Speaking of Doherty, how devastated were they?
Pretty devastated. I talked to Mike Hansen in the, right after the game in the locker room. And, he was obviously an emotional guy. And this team has been through the ups and downs. And he just wanted to say how proud he was, because it was all the stuff they had to go through from, Jalen Stokes and how he wasn't eligible till midway through the season. They've had injuries all year. A lot of outside noise on that program, but he was very proud of his group. It was really, I think, a stunning loss for Doherty. It felt like just seeing them come out. It didn't really hit them until maybe, after. I think it was a good run, the NCS Division I champions, and they accomplished a lot this year. So I think nothing to hang their heads on.
Right. I mean, it's just, to come from the high of Saturday. I mean, one of these teams was going to be devastated because they were both, the way Doherty beat Redwood and Moreau, obviously scoring 5 points. And we're going to call it 5 points in the last half second of that game, right? To beat Cardinal Newman.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, Hampton hit a 3. Frank Knight's given a timeout with 0.4 seconds left. And Cardinal Newman decided to throw the deep pass. It's one of his players is called for a foul, and the Moreau kid, Jalen Arnold, hits 2 free throws to win the game. NCS Division II championship. Now Moreau goes to Lincoln of Stockton, correct? On Thursday?
That will be another tough one for Moreau. I think they have the bodies to do it, the athleticism to do it, but Lincoln of Stockton is no joke. I watched them play San Ramon Valley, the first game of the year, and they gave it to San Ramon. And to do that to that team, that's a tough thing to do. So
it's going to be a really tough challenge. But I mean, Frank obviously will have those Moreau kids ready. Rough night for the EBAL in Division I. Dublin went out, lost at home to SI. California was no match, I believe, for Intercom, the top seed in that bracket, maybe the overwhelming favorite to win. We thought Joseph and I don't know if I mentioned to you, Nathan, but when we were talking, we were looking at the rankings going into the weekend. We thought Intercom had a chance for to be an open team, but they're not. I know the state likes to have at least 1 or 2 teams that could give, because you don't want to put everybody in the open, fill it up with eight teams, and then not have a worthy contender for the SoCal team out of Division I NorCal. So, so whoever comes out of Division I NorCal, they want to at least give them a chance, right? So I think this Intercom team is probably pretty good, and they're going to be at home all the way through if they keep winning. But like we said, California went out, Dublin went out, San Ramon Valley had a tough one. They hung on. They won by 5 tonight.
Short-handed too. I just talked to Coach Brian Botine, and he said Mason Thomas had a 102-degree fever before the game, and he was playing sparingly, but he did play. So
wow. Okay. Yeah. Joseph, I know you were heavy into soccer. Let's give soccer like a quick segment here. I mean, what a night in soccer. It looks like the Bay Area is going to have a champion, Division I champion on the girls' side, right? Because that's all that's left.
Yep, all that's left. Bay Area teams. There were some upsets for sure especially in the upper brackets. For the girls' side, which I have in front of me, Bishop O'Dowd is going to play at Archbishop Mitty. Mitty, the 5 seed, beats Monte Vista in a game that didn't really feel like an upset. Just considering how good Mitty's been.
I mean, yeah. Where
then-
Mitty was number 2 in Christians, or 1 or 2 in Christians rankings all season, right? It was
Yeah.
St. Francis and Mitty.
Now, what
Yeah.
wasn't upset was Bishop O'Dowd going to Del Oro and beating
Getting
them
it up.
in penalty kicks. That was an upset. St. Francis, they do what they needed to do against Folsom, but Amador Valley goes to Rockland and beats them 3-1. So
Right.
we've got all Bay areas, O'Dowd and Mitty, Amador and St. Francis. On the boys' side, the stunner was number 1 Doherty Valley goes down to Davis. It is Davis Senior or just Davis, I don't know. That Davis High School.
Davis High School. But on the other side of that bracket, 2 Bay Area Blue Bloods got dubs,
They
right?
did. De La Salle blanks Edison of Fresno 2-0. Ronan Radigan, who is a phenomenal number 10 for De La Salle, scores again. He scored in his last 2 games. And then Bellarmine gets the 1-0 win at Franklin of Elk Grove. Sets up a De La Salle versus Bellarmine game in a semifinal, which feels like that should be a final, like that.
Well, you got Everett Alvarez over on the other side of that bracket.
They do. It's gonna be an interesting game. I mean, you have especially whoever is at De La Salle on Thursday. It's a shame that the basketball team doesn't play till Saturday, because you could have a pretty nice doubleheader of soccer at 5 and basketball at like 7:30.
Right.
But and then one other thing I'll say is that in the boys Division 5, every lower seed won. 8-1, 5-1, 6, and 7 all win.
Wow.
Granted, one of those was a forfeit because number 1 Castlemont was ruled ineligible, but the other ones were straight up
Ineligible player, or what happened there? Do we know?
Not really, although the statement released by Castlemont on their Instagram made it sound like they had an ineligible player.
All right. So in the boys D1 bracket, Everett Alvarez is the top seed left at number 4. They're going to be at home to play Davis or Davis Senior, whatever we want to call him. So I mean, it's possible the winner of the Bellarmine De La Salle game is going to have to go to Salinas on Saturday for the regional championship.
Yes.
If Dave and we know Alvarez is the CCS Division 1 champ, coming off a big win over Bellarmine on Friday.
Yes.
Other winners real quick before we move back to basketball. Clayton Valley got a big win tonight. Mountain View got a win.
Mm-hmm.
So Clayton Valley is going to go to Mountain View on Thursday. That'll be an interesting matchup. Nathan's alma mater, Granada, got a 4-0 dub over Woodland, the 6th seed. So Granada's going to hit the road to play Hillsdale. Going to go to the peninsula to play
drive.
A 1-0 winner over Terra Linda. Milpitas, what a night for Milpitas. I mean, the basketball team gets a big W, and the boys soccer team in Division 4 got a win tonight. So big night for them. Joseph, as you said, well, SI in Division 2 girls.
Yep. Menlo
School got a win. I when I was typing in these scores, Nathan, I was thinking of Brian Seymour from the CIF's comments to you about St. Joseph, Santa Maria, and man, we really don't want them traveling up to the Bay. Bakersfield Christian, I mean, Bakersfield in the north, and they got a win over Oakdale. It was a home win, but now they got to go to Chico from Bakersfield. That's like 6 hours.
That's cool. I would consider that to be cruel at that point.
That's like it's 4+ hours to get to Sacramento from Bakersfield, maybe 4.5. And then you got to go an extra 1.5 hours to get to Chico.
That's
by the way,
right.
I'm looking at the worst possible matchup for a Bakersfield team is having to play in Eureka. If the CIF ever did that, that would be, I kid you not, a 545-mile trip one way, 9 hours. I mean, yikes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get back to hoops. Nathan, what are your thoughts on Milpitas? I mean, my gosh. I mean, they went to overtime tonight, and got a big win over Wood Creek.
Yeah, my guess. I mean, my feel on Milpitas is that they're just gamers. They just whenever the lights are on, they're gonna perform. Now, SI gave them some problems. I think that the
But we
matchup.
saw what SI beat Dublin tonight at Dublin. SI is no joke. I mean, if they're
SI 's
not
no
playing Reardon, they could hang with pretty much everybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have another tough test with Clovis East. That's another one of those Fresno teams out there that are pretty good. That's pretty good, but man, they're rolling. I mean, how often is it that you get you're Milpitas and you get a basically home field or home court advantage throughout
It
these
is a
playoffs?
home, and I was watching the stream. Huge crowd at student section. It was rocking at Milpitas tonight, and it will be rocking again on Thursday.
Oh yeah, and that's not an easy drive for Clovis East either. That's going to be a tough road game for them. So they're rolling right now. I mean, if we're looking at it, they could play Midi here in the semis. If Midi can get out of
I don't know if
Jesuit.
Midi's going to get out of Jesuit, but if it's Midi at Milpitas on Saturday night, wow.
Ooh.
That's a hell of a game. I'll say one upset I was not expecting, and neither was San Ramon Valley, was Liberty going to Clovis North and beating them. I was just talking again to Brian Botine, and they actually have to change venues. They're playing at Monte Vista on Thursday because they did not expect, or they were planning for a trip to Fresno, but obviously with Liberty winning that game, there's a scheduling conflict, I believe, on Thursday, he told me. So
With their gym? They don't get their own gym?
I don't know what the scheduling conflict is. I don't know if it's boys volleyball or
I'd say it might be boys volleyball.
I think it might be boys volleyball, but they will be playing at Monte Vista.
I will say this. Look, I respect all sports. I do feel like for the NorCal basketball playoffs, they should be able to politely ask boys volleyball, hey,
To go to Monte Vista.
y'all go to Monte Vista.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting game because it's not necessarily going to be in their home gym. So I think that still matters. But Liberty, man, I don't know. I mean, I thought they were down at half by like at least 15 points. I don't know what happened.
Clovis North is really good. I mean, they've had great runs in NorCal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Liberty team is cooking right now. I mean, they beat California I believe the 5th place game of the Open playoffs for NCS, and now they can go to San Ramon Valley, kind of catch San Ramon Valley in a weird position because it's not going to be in their home gym. So
right,
I wouldn't put it past Liberty to win that game. I definitely think San Ramon should be favored, but man, that's a turn of events for San Ramon having to play in Monte Vista.
By the way, speaking of cooking, your Alhambra Bulldogs, Nathan, got the win.
Wow. That's not a surprise either. I was not shocked. I did see they're getting a lot more attention as of late. I saw they're on TV now. So maybe it's helping them. I see, that's a Division 5, they've been tested. I picked them to win that bracket. So we'll see.
Vern Glenn gave him a shout out tonight on Twitter/X. I saw gave out But another game I was thinking about for you, Nathan, was Mills got a huge win tonight. The girls.
Yeah. Mills did I did see that as well. They are a 19-point win. Like, that's pretty good. And they get to play a team, maybe somewhat familiar, Castilleja, who was just down 101. So
right.
That'll be an interesting matchup. Castilleja went to Riverbank out near the Central Valley, near Modesto. Got a win there. So I think interesting matchup. I never can count out Justin Matsu. That guy, like I said, I think he's one of the better coaches here in the Bay Area.
I'll just throw out, now we're going through different games. Look on the girls' side. One, Piedmont doubling up Oakland Tech. I don't think any of us could have seen that one coming.
Yeah, that was a very impressive win by Piedmont tonight, going to Oakland Tech and winning by 31, I believe. Was it 60-29?
Yes.
Huge win there.
And then Carondelet beat St. Francis by 5. Bishop O'Dowd beats Reardon in San Francisco by 6, which sets up a rematch of last year's Division 1 final in NorCal. Was won on a Devin Cosgrove game winner.
So
I believe it's the buzzer.
Bishop O'Dowd. let's before, I mean, it's going to take a little bit more time than we probably had planned, but let's go through some of these games for Thursday. What are we looking forward to? I'll start in Division 1. As we mentioned, Oakland Tech's going to Intercom, Liberty playing San Ramon, Moreau Lincoln Stockton, and SI at Buchanan Clovis. Any of those, I guess for us, I mean, the Moreau game and Liberty San Ramon, those are both interesting games.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the Moreau game especially, because I think I can't remember the player's name for Lincoln, but they do have a Weber State commit who kind of just has been running. Lincoln has beaten a lot of Bay Area teams this year. I believe they beat Liberty by a bunch. I think they beat Oakland Tech as well. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting, Moreau. And then I will always say even the San Ramon Liberty game, it's going to be that game might be 85-80 or something like that. It's a lot of scoring for both those teams. San Ramon didn't get into the 70s tonight, but they have in the past. They got into the 80s before. So
hopefully Mason Thomas is feeling better, and San Ramon will be at full strength for that one. In Division 2, any chance at Clayton Valley? I mean, I guess with Frank Alaco Jr. and that defense, I wouldn't count them out against anybody. They're going to go to number 1 seed Rockland.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
For what it's worth, Rockland only beat Bullard by 9 points.
All right. We give the Ugly Eagles a chance in that one.
Oh yeah. When you have Elijah Perriman and you have all that shooting, I think you got to give them a chance every game.
What about Midi at Jesuit?
I think Midi might be on a run here. I think this is perfect for them to be here.
I mean,
I think I'm feeling some upset vibes from Midi.
I would like them to win, and I'd like Milpitas to win, just so we can get a Milpitas versus Midi semifinal that we all predicted in Division 2 at the beginning of the season. We're like, yeah, that's going to be a D2 semifinal. Milpitas, Midi.
All right.
Host.
In D3, TKA took care of business, pounded Pleasant Valley Chico by 21. They get a home game again on Thursday. They'll be playing Aptos. On the other, in that bracket, on that side, Carlmont got a big W. Carlmont, I like this Carlmont team.
Yeah.
I mean, they took down Palo Alto on Saturday in the CCS D1 final. They're going to be going to San Francisco to play University. That'll be an interesting matchup. But and then Palo Alto won, so they're going to be at home because Enterprise Reading pulled off an upset and beat Christopher. We would have had a Christopher Palo Alto game. Instead, we've got Enterprise going to Palo Alto. I think this is TKA's bracket to win, though, right?
Yeah,
I wouldn't count out a Palo Alto. I mean, I wouldn't count.
I will say this: I just talked to Coach Cameron Bradford over there at TKA, and he likes where they're at. All the guys are scoring. At least tonight, I think all their main guys hit double digits. So it's hard. It's hard when you got 5 guys on the floor who can all score 15 plus points at any moment. So I think it's gonna be hard for any team, let alone Palo Alto, who kind of relies on just one guy to score all their points. So I think it's going to be I do believe this is TKA's bracket to lose.
All right. And then in Division 4, Prairie got a big win. They're the number 1 seed CCS team. They're going to be going up against Natomas, which took down Piedmont. Berkeley's still alive in that bracket. Right? Berkeley won a 3rd place game, I believe, to get out of the NCS. St. Patrick St. Vincent also a winner tonight. And then in D5, Alhambra, as we discussed earlier, it'd be quite a story if Alhambra makes it to Sacramento, right?
So when Alhambra was talking about how they wanted to win state, maybe they were being serious. They were like, "Oh,
I'm just saying, man, go from bottom of the DAL to state champs. I think that's a great story, and these guys, no joke. They think they can do it. All those guys are pretty confident guys, and you got an experienced coaching staff with Chris Petiti.
You're feeling the vibes.
Oh yeah, and I'm not, no disrespect to any of the teams in that region in that bracket, but a lot of teams from that we don't know about, or I don't know if a lot of people would know about. So I don't know if they've seen Alhambra, up there in Reading or in Chico. I don't know if they've seen that.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's take a real quick spin through the girls brackets. Piedmont gets a home game as a 9 seed. They got a win over 8 seed Oakland Tech, as we mentioned earlier. They'll be at home for San Joaquin Memorial, which there's no other way to put it. That was a stunner, right? 84-74 over Folsom.
Yeah, I mean, usually when those kind of upsets happen, it's like 48-47. It's a low scoring game. They hit a crazy shot at the buzzer. Nah, these girls just straight up, I guess, went to Folsom and was like, we're gonna outscore you guys.
Can they go in and outscore Piedmont? You talked about Piedmont's guards. I mean, is this gonna be a heck of a game on Thursday?
Should be 95-91.
I mean, all of these girls matchups, at least the first 3. Priory going to St. Mary's of Stockton.
That is a very interesting matchup.
And then Bishop O'Dowd going to Carondelet. So, and then Cardinal Newman, which I think I remember correct. I think they had something like a 27-0 run in the second half against SI, because that was a tight game. And then all of a sudden they just went off. And they will be playing Clovis. In Division 2, Sacred Heart Cathedral, the WCAL still alive. California gets a home game. They're the 5 seed. They're going to be playing Redwood. California pounded Los Gatos tonight. In Division 3.
I'll say Salesian. Look at Salesian still alive.
Oh,
My championship pick.
Good catch. Salesian, the 6th seed in Division 2. Division 3, Menlo Atherton pulled off an upset tonight against Ponderosa, beating them 53-49. So Menlo Atherton is still alive. Menlo School is still alive. Moreau Catholic is still alive. Wow.
Moreau Catholic is having a heck of a year if we count football season. I mean, they're having a really nice year.
They're having a really, really nice year.
I wonder how their softball and baseball teams are going to do this year.
The girls are going to have to travel all the way up to Reading to play Shasta, but they're still alive. In Division 4, we talked about Castleia having to go to Mills. That's an interesting matchup, CCS versus CCS.
Half Moon Bay.
Moon Bay, the 2 seed, they're going to be at home for West Campus out of Sacramento on Thursday. And then in Division 5, Head Royce still alive.
Yep.
Encinal. Didn't one of you guys pick Encinal?
I think Encinal. I think they were 10-0 in their version of the WAC. And I mean,
they beat their opponent by 31 points tonight, so it's not a bad pick.
Look, man, I'm saying now, I think we're going to be covering an Encinal state championship win down in
you're out in Sacramento. You're calling that?
I'm going to call it.
It's
yeah.
late, man.
I watched some Simply Basketball highlights of them. Shout out to Simply Basketball. And I was like, they can play. They beat some good teams in the regular season.
Wow. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up? What a night of basketball. Like I said, 8 double-digit seeds win on the boys' side, 6 on the girls' side. What a crazy night. If this is how it's going to be, I kind of can't wait for tomorrow, and then definitely on Thursday.
I've been trying to read more. So I've been reading Game of Thrones. I got to tell you, the lot of plot twists in this book, but not nearly as many as tonight when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, it's been crazy.
I just want to shout out. I met Dom Walker from Moreau. I met his grandmother, and she saw me and she was like, "I watch your guys' show every single night, and I hope you mentioned Moreau tonight because I've been watching it. You haven't mentioned Moreau yet, so I hope tonight was good enough." I know we talked to both Moreau girls and boys, so yeah, shout out to all the. I heard a lot of people, Doherty parents as well, said they've been watching the show, so we appreciate that.
You've seen a lot of hoops this season, Nathan. Was that the best game tonight?
Oh, that was game of the year. That was insane. I mean, aside from the choppiness in the beginning, the ending was wow. I mean, I don't know if I've watched a game, pro, college, or high school, kind of like that. That was pretty crazy.
I'll say this: tomorrow, there's only I think 2 games, right, that are going to be played in the Bay Area. It's,
Three.
Three.
Akalani's team you wrote about.
Team I wrote about. By the way, read my feature on the Akalani's girls, childhood friends who have made it to the big time. There are 3 games, all the open games. I'll be at Pinewood and SRV
In Danville.
In Danville. If you talk about a game that should be high scoring, is probably that one. And then Nathan, you'll be at
it's Salesian. Oh well, technically Albany High School, watching Salesian play Modesto Christian, and their open game. Winner will play Reardon on Saturday, so that'll be a fun one.
That will be a heck of a game tomorrow night. And then we move into Thursday, which we just discussed, and then a day to catch our breath on Friday, and then everybody who's left will be playing Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's the time of the year.
So we got basketball, soccer, a lot going on. So check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Thanks for watching.